So when I was in Greene Correctional Facility, this was like 99, 2000 when this incident happened. Bloods wasn't allowed to live. Like the whole jail was Crips, GDs. Crips and GDs was still cool at the time. It was Crips, GDs, Latin Kings, Nietas, a couple Dominican Power. Like those were the main gangs at the time. So usually when Bloods came in, if they were smart, they would pop off immediately, and the COs would send them to the box, and they'd be going to another facility, most likely one of their facilities, because at the time they had like every facility in the whole state except for Greene, a little bit of Elmira, maybe a section here and there somewhere else, but they had everything else. So this blood dude come in and he gets in a fight immediately as soon as he gets there. But he don't go to the box because he goes and fights in the bathroom, like he keeps the shit on the low. I don't know if he thought like he was gonna fight and it was gonna allow him to stay in the compound, because a lot of times like people get the impression that like, oh, if I fight and I show them that I'm willing to fight, then I'm gonna be okay. The reality is, using op, that's not true. Nobody's letting you stay here, especially after the shit that the Bloods was doing to everybody on the island. Like the Bloods was abusing people, the island, etc. I'm from upstate, so I didn't go through that type of shit. Like I had a bunch of Crips in the county jail with me, so it's different depending on where you're at, what location you're in, etc. So dude got his boots on. He's sitting in the day room. The homies that was in the dorm was like, yo, you got to get out of here. Like, you can't be in here. Dude, like, I'm not going nowhere. Fuck that, right? So nobody wants to really blow it up, because once you blow it up, I mean, 5, 6 dudes jump on them. We're going to lose 5, 6 people. They're going to go to the box, and it's just going to be another ticket. People going to lose good time, all types of shit. So what happened was the whole day goes by, right? Dude don't go to chow. Dude don't go to rec, but he's in the dorm. So he knows, like, you getting up out of here. So he goes to bed with his boots on. He still got his boots on, fully dressed, right? Puts the blanket over his head, right? And goes to sleep. Like, bro, I don't know where you thought you was at, but yeah, shit ain't work out for him. So they took the hot pot. Now in prison, they got these big ass hot pots. They're mad big, but they're for the whole dorm. And they got like a thing on the bottom, kind of like a switch, kind of like where the hot water comes out at. So you can get the hot water from there, and that shit runs all day. People just fill it up and it keeps going. So the CO we had at the time was one of these COs who want to go next door and talk to the other CO. Now the dorms connect. There's a door in between the dorms. So the CO will go through the door to the other side and go talk to his homeboy or whatever, as if nothing's going to happen. So when the CO goes over there to do that, they take the hot pot, put oil and hair grease and shit inside of the hot pot water, and go up to dude, like two of them. There was probably like 8 or 9 people over there, right? Go over to dude and dump the shit on him. Dump the whole hot pot on him. Now I see who dumped the shit. So they dumped the whole thing of hot pot water on his face and shit. But I seen dude jump up screaming. And it's like he was screaming so loud, and you could see his skin was peeling. He had pieces of the blanket stuck to like here and here, like, because the boiling water was so hot, and the grease, like you could see just his skin peeling off his cheek. His eye was like closed. I don't know if he lost his eye or what the fuck happened. Screaming, runs to the bathroom, starts trying to throw cold water on his face, right? The CO comes flying over. The other CO comes over. He immediately pulls the pin because he see this dude. It's crazy, because you would think because his water would just burn, but he's bleeding and shit too, like from the water, because the water is so hot. His face is melting, is bubbling. It's just disgusting, right? So they come in, they lock the dorm down. They check people for marks. Like every time there's a fight or something, they'll check your hands. Like you got to watch your hands in prison. Like if you hit your hand on something, go tell the CO immediately. Like, bro, I hit my hand on, got a cut on my hand. Because if they see a cut on your hand, they're automatically going to think you was fighting, and you're going to get a ticket, you're going to go down. So they check everybody's hands. They make sure, check everybody that's going on. They can't fingerprint the hot pot because everybody touches the hot pot. The hot pot just laying there in the middle of the fucking dorm now, right? So they do an investigation, and one of the dudes actually tell. One of the dudes goes and tells. I think they grab, I know they grab 3 of the GDs, like one of the Crip homies, and like 2 Niyatas. So they grab like 5 or 6 people out that shit. and they charged them all with assault and gave them all new charges and all types of shit. One of them snitched. I think one of the GDs snitched. Like, but they was all facing like a whole bunch of time. So they ended up getting like 5, 6 more years behind that shit. Dude got out the jail and got burnt up. But that shit taught me a lesson. Like, I learned something from that. And what I learned is, do not sit around and wait when you got ops. Like, if you got problems with somebody, don't sit around, bro. I seen dudes get set on fire in their cell. I seen dudes get stabbed on their way to breakfast. I seen dudes get cut on the visiting floor. Like, if you got problems with somebody in prison, New York State prison at least, you got to handle that shit right fucking there. Because if you don't, some shit like that might happen to you. Your whole face getting burnt off with a hot pot.